Okay, let's do a simple calculation question. Obviously, we're going to use a stupid example. We're going to assume a world in which we have an economy that produces only cafe lattes. Keep things nice and simple. So our question is calculate the nominal GDP, the real GDP, and the GDP price deflator for 2015 if 2,000 lattes are sold at $6 per cup during that year, with the base price remaining $2. Okay. We calculate nominal GDP simply by the price of the product times the quantity produced for a given year. The real GDP is calculated by the nominal GDP for our year of interest multiplied by the price in the base year divided by the price in the current year or the year we're interested in. So let's do some simple calculations, and we can use Excel. You should get used to using Excel spreadsheets. So here we have the data that was in the question, and we need to calculate nominal GDP. We calculate nominal GDP, we can put it in here, is equal to the price times the quantity. It's very simple. The price in the year we're interested, year 2, multiplied by the quantity. Voila. Okay, now calculating real GDP. So that was the tricky one. That's going to be nominal GDP, which we've just calculated, multiplied by the price in the base year divided by the price in the current year. So base year divided by the price in the current year. So we can see that the real GDP is much lower than the nominal GDP. Why? Because the nominal GDP includes both price and output, whereas real GDP has held price fixed in the first year. In fact, let's do a little bit more. Let's muck around with this a bit. So we're increasing by 4, so we'll make this 10. Let's have the output going up by 1,000. We can calculate nominal GDP. Well, we've put in the formula the first time, so Excel can do the rest of the work for us. And similarly, Excel can do the rest of the work for us here, but we should note that we need to make sure that we've got 2 in here as our base year price, because we never want that to change. The base year is fixed. It's the anchor price for calculating real GDP. So we need to make sure it's 2, and then we can calculate the rest. And as you can see, the real GDP is always less than the nominal GDP. And just for fun, let's calculate real GDP growth, or economic growth. So that's the change in real GDP divided by the original GDP, previous year. Voila. You can see the growth rate falling here. Okay, so just by doing this, we note something slightly interesting. See, output is going up by a constant amount. It's going up by 1,000 each time. But the growth rate is falling. Why is that the case? Because when we're calculating our percentage change, the numerator, the change in real GDP, is constant, but the denominator is getting larger and larger. It's 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, and so on. So the growth rate is falling, even though the quantity of output is increasing at a constant rate. Okie doke. So that's that. Oh, also, we need to get rid of this nonsense. We also were meant to calculate the GDP price deflator. basically what we want to construct here is just a price index. So we already have some information. We got the whoops, oh, damn it, get that there. Okay, so we've got the price. We've got some information about the price, and we want to turn it into an index number. So we know for the base year, we're going to make the when the price was 2, we're going to make that the base year. So for the index number, we're going to set that at 100. So our base year is always going to be starting at 100. Then we had in the next year, the price was 6. So that's an index number of something. And then we had the price of 10. It's an index number of something, and so on and so forth. So let's just take this here, and we can just solve it as a little problem. Right, so 100 over 2 is, as the index we want in the year we're interested in, over the price of 6. Right, and solve for I, the index number. So we just multiply that, put it up here. So it's 100 over 2 times 6 equals our index number. Hooray! So we know what we're going to put in. We know what we're going to put in here. Right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And it's even easier when we use Excel, because we don't need to do it for every single thing. We get Excel to do some work for us. Excel is our technological slave. It will never rise up against you. Don't worry. So we want to put in here 100 over 2 multiplied by the price we're interested in. Voila! There's our first price index. Incidentally, what will this one be? 100. That's our base year price index number. And then we did Excel to calculate the rest. Thank you, Excel.